Hi guys, welcome to the Supercharged Super Audio Show. Today we have the Rose Technique Star City 5 Pro. Rose Technique has been leveling up its game lately, and this is their offering in the sub $100 range. This one over-delivers in value for the quality of sound you are getting. I thought it sounded a bit more expensive than its actual asking price. Starting things off with an unboxing, Rose Technique has really put in a lot of effort when it comes to the Star City. It has a rather nice sleeve with a few designery touches rather than just a render on the faceplate. It's not just only a render. On the back, there is some information that seems to be there just for the sake of it being there. What is inside the box is surprisingly premium for the price. Inside, you're greeted by the earphones and a hockey puck case, which also houses the cable, an additional pack of ear tips, and also a USB-C DAC. If you're using a phone with USB-C, you can start enjoying these earphones immediately. You don't really have to buy another dongle to use them. These are good straight out the box. Build quality. The Star City 5 Pro reminds me of what Campfire put out for the Chromatic series. While a metal fitting is placed on top of resin, while similar, it has a very different aesthetic form. The main part of the chassis is made from resin, capped with a metal faceplate of sorts. The chassis overall has a compact footprint, making it quite comfortable in my ears. Interestingly, Rose Technique did not incorporate a 2-pin termination, but rather opted for MMCX, which is considerably rarer these days. Inside the chassis, the Star City 5 Pro features one liquid crystal polymer dynamic driver paired with 2 balanced armatures. The provided cable is cloth sleeved, which might sound like a good idea, but I wouldn't say that it has the best hand feel. It's okay, just not great. The cable terminates in a 3.5mm plug and a MMCX connector. The MMCX used here is those standard free spinning type with ample resistance. However, I would have preferred if they made it fixed in place to reduce the stress on these connectors. How MMCX usually breaks is from the free spinniness that can cause premature wear on the connectors. Sound. When it comes to sound, the Star City 5 Pro is very nicely balanced with a V-shaped signature taking a slight elevation in the upper mids. This is a very versatile tuning that will suit most genres but work especially well with pop and rock. The Star City 5 Pro has a classic hybrid tonality, one that utilizes the strength of its driver configuration. The dynamic driver handles bass, resulting in a very natural rendering of bass. The balanced armatures take care of the mids and treble. Additionally, the Star City 5 Pro is very coherent for a hybrid IEM, especially at this price point. Despite the number of drivers per side, they sound very well timed with minimal phase cancellation. Pretty impressive for the price. Also, the tuning that the Star City 5 Pro is actually very mature considering it's below $100. Bass. Bass here is adequate and nicely balanced. Rose Technique has prioritized bass quality over quantity. Personally, I prefer bass quality over excessive flabby bass. The bass here is excellent, fast and well matched with the rest of the frequency range. It is more sub-bass focused, transitioning very smoothly into the mid-bass. The mid-bass is present but not to the point of boominess. Overall, the bass on the Star City 5 Pro is very tight. Mid-range. The true highlight of the Star City 5 Pro is in its mid-range. Very liquid and highly detailed. If you enjoy vocal-centric tracks, female vocals here are particularly stunning, sounding exceptionally sweet. For the price, I think Star City 5 Pro renders vocals beautifully and stands up well to other popular models. The balance of sweetness and warmth is just right. It never gets cloying. Instruments in the mid-range sounds very natural and clear without too much added coloration. Additionally, the Star City 5 Pro is very cohesive and does not break immersion while listening. Treble. Treble extension is handled by the balanced armatures. It is very well done. Extension is good. Sure, it does not have the extension of an EST driver, but for balanced armatures, it performs great. Adding to that, treble is also very smooth. Soundstage, when it comes to width and height, width is above models for the Star City 5 Pro, and height is also rather similar. Think of it like a small, intimate jazz club. Depth and positioning, depth is good with the dynamic driver rendering dynamics quite well despite the more modest bass quantity. Positioning is excellent as the airy and refined treble allows for pinpoint accuracy. So next up, let's talk about some comparisons. So the first item that I'm going to compare is actually a bit more expensive than the Star City 5 Pro, and that would be the Meze Alba. So the Alba competes in the same price category as the Star City 5 Pro. However, the Alba simply cannot keep up as it sounds less refined and lower in resolution compared to the Star City. Next up, versus the NF Audio RA15. Now, the RA15 is NF Audio's latest chifi offering, featuring a single dynamic driver. It has a V-shaped signature that is more dynamic sounding compared to the Star City. The RA15 has slightly more treble energy, so if you're treble sensitive, the Star City would be the better pick, but if not, the RA15 actually has a bit better resolution between the two. Between these two, which should you pick really depends on you. If you have a larger treble tolerance, go with the RA15. If you want something that is very easy to like, very pleasing to almost anybody, then the Star City 5 Pro would be my choice. And finally, let's talk about some ratings. So starting off with bass, it is not plentiful in terms of quantity, but actually has really good quality. It gets a 7.5, bass is very tight, fast, and actually very precise. Mid-range, this is clearly the star of the show with beautiful vocal rendering. It gets a 8. Treble sounds smooth with very good detail, a 7.5. Resolution, so the Star City 5 Pro resolves fine details very well. It gets a 7.5. Soundstage, it's actually of a really rather good size with nice depth and positioning, so it gets a 7. And lastly, the enjoyment factor. So for this earphone, I found myself listening to a lot of vocal tracks, and I certainly do find it very enjoyable, especially when it comes to female vocals. It gets a solid A. And in conclusion, the Star City 5 Pro is a pair I highly recommend to somebody who loves vocals. It delivers something magical when it comes to voices. It is a very well-rounded IM that will suit many listeners. Bass here has decent quantity but excellent quality. The only downside is that it uses the MMCX connectors, which isn't all that bad, but 2-pin is a bit more common these days, so it's great for cable swaps if you use 2-pin, but it's MMCX, so it's not. That's it. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, you should consider it. Other than that, it actually gives incredible value for what it is actually providing. Once again, thank you so much for watching the Supercharged Super Audio Show. If you like the content, please let me know. Once again, thank you for watching the Supercharged Super Audio Show. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. With that said, I hope to see you guys soon.